What is going on, guys? Did you know there are certain armor pieces in Elden Ring that provide not only just resistances and poise, actually has hidden stats that buff your character as well? Armor isn't just armor in Elden Ring. For the longest time, I gave the advice, use whatever you think looks cool. Armor really doesn't mean that much. Obviously, excluding poise and resistances, I thought it didn't go much more in depth than that, but I couldn't have been more wrong in that assumption. This game has so much more than just what's on the surface. Some specific armor pieces actually provide stats that could be vital for your character to wield certain weapons at lower soul levels. They also buff certain damage types, they provide inherent stats to your character, and all sorts of things. If you're trying to get the most out of your build, this could be of immense value to min-max your character. While having some badass looking armor is cool and all, being the most optimal for your build matters too, especially on the PvP side of things. I could look like an absolute dummy, but if this build performs better, you best believe I'm going to do it. Now, I do want to notate that there's probably more armor sets that provide different stats to your character that I personally haven't found yet. If I don't mention an armor set that you know that provides certain stats, please be sure to comment down below and let me know. But before we get started, if you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to subscribe, it's free and never miss an upload. Also, if you found this video helpful in any way, be sure to smash the like button. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, most of my findings so far only pertain to the head and the chest slot, but there are also some full armor sets that include the head, the chest, the legs, and the hands that could become more powerful the more of that armor set you have equipped, which would need much more testing than I can do in this video. The TLDR version is you will more than likely just use the head slot to provide your character with extra stats, and you may or may not use an entire set unless you wanted to go all in those certain spells and incantations. So now let's go over some of the armor sets and let me explain the importance of this. So first we're going to go over this Okina mask. Now this is going to be the most widely used, I would say, at least for dex builds, as this provides you with 3 dexterity, which is insane. So if we take this thing off, you see the blue number on the far right side, our dexterity. It increases from 55 to 58, which could be insane for any build that needs to equip something, for any requirements, need to get a little bit more dex or whatever the case is. This could provide the extra bonus. Now, this also, if you want to investigate any set, just look at the item description. So you want to go into your equipment, press X on the main mask, and you want to click switch display. And this will allow you to read the item description and kind of let you go in depth into what it does. So it says a wooden mask that depicts an old man baring his teeth, blah, 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 blah. And then it goes down to raises dexterity as it lowers focus. So it lowers your focus, which only affect your madness and your sleep buildup, I do believe. So we go down here to focus on our stats. So your resistances to sleep and madness. So that's kind of a big deal to an extent, but not really, especially when you're invading. You're not going to go up against too many madness builds, at least in my experience, I haven't. But this provides you with 3 dexterity, which is basically 3 levels. Now, on a lower level spec, this is going to make more of a difference, especially pairing this with Redagon's Sword Seal. You're getting upwards of 8 dexterity with just using 2 pieces of gear. That's powerful. And that's just one certain example. I know these aren't going to be necessarily for everybody, but this is just kind of going over a quick overview of some of the important ones. But I think this one will be the most widely used, especially for any type of dex build. So let's go up to the top. We got the Mushroom Crown. Okay, this gives you attack power when something nearby suffers from poison or rot, which is insane for PvP. This is like crazy for Scarlet Rot builds using any type of poison, whatever the case is. Now, I don't know how much this actually increases your attack power. It could be 20, it could be 10, whatever the case is. But any extra attack power you can get from your build could be of some value. Now, it doesn't necessarily look the coolest, but if you have this full set, I know there is a full set of this, I just don't have any of the other pieces. This thing could actually, if my theory is correct, if you have all of the mushroom set equipped, this could actually increase your attack power by a lot just by proccing the poison or the Scarlet Rot effect. Another one I think is going to be important is the Glintstone Crown. This one increases your intelligence and strength to the detriment of your FP. So it reduces your FP, I think, by like 7 points, I want to say. So right now it's at 79 on the far right side. You take it off and it's at 87. So it's, I guess, like 8 points. It really isn't too bad. But it gives you 2 points of intelligence and 2 points of strength, which could be of some value. It just depends on, again, your build and your stats and what you're really going for. But if some weapon you wanted to use, if you're making an intelligence build and you needed a little bit more strength to wield it and you can make it intelligent scaling, that would be where this value could come into play. Because you can, again, if you wanted to, use the Redagon Sword Seal, or even use the magical one, whatever the case is. If you just needed just a little bit more strength to where you don't have to invest stats into your character, again, this is pretty much all mainly the value you're going to see from this stuff. It's just free stats at this point. Now, sure, you reduce some of your FP, but if you're a mage, you're going to be putting 20-30 points into mind anyways, maybe even higher than that, just depending on your soul level. You're going to be fine with your overall magic sustain. So another one is the pointed hat. Now this one, I do believe, is an entire set. Yes, it is. So let's see here. Let me get it on real fast. All right, so here's the full set. It looks pretty cool for sure. Definitely, I think this is a lot of drip that people like, especially for like a wizard. But what this does is it increases the damage and strengthens the thorn sorceries. So to my knowledge, there's only really 2. Looking on the wiki, but this thing looks cool. It looks fine. But all of this increases the thorn sorcery. So this could be crazy. This could give you a lot more scaling on your thorn sorcery, which could be of some value to you if you wanted to do that. Some of the other ones, we have the Mask of Confidence. This increases the arcane. So this gives us 3 arcane for basically nothing. So it's just that simple. We get this mask. It looks decent, I guess. Doesn't look that cool, but again, free stats are free stats. Then we have, in my opinion, probably the best in slot headpiece. This provides, I think it's intelligence. It gives you 3 intelligence, so it's just like the Mask of Confidence, which will definitely be very powerful for any type of lower level mages that just need a little bit of extra stats. I think most of this is going to be used to optimize your character. So, for example, at soul level 150, if you needed to get up to 80, intelligence or whatever, right? You'd go up to actually 72 because you could use the Redagon Sword Seal or the Magicka Sword Seal, and then use the hat, and you're gonna get 3 and then 5 from the Magicka Sword Seal. So you're gonna have 8 total, and you'll be at soft cap at 80 with only 72 points invested just by using this hat alone. This is the value I see in it. Then you have the Snow Witch hat. This strengthens cold sorcery, so if you want to do any cold magic. This mask increases your arcane, not by as much as the Mask of Confidence, but hey, if you like this drip, it only gives you 1, so it's really not a whole lot of value. So for the Navy Hood, this increases your mines by 1 point. It looks a little bit cooler than the rest of them, but yeah, that's what that does. Then you have a Strength Helmet. This gives you, I believe, 2 strength. Yeah, 2 strength. It doesn't look that cool, but I mean, strength is strength. So you could, again, same terminology and same concept. The Queen's Crown. With this thing, you could get Redagon Sword Seal and get up to like 73 strength, and actually get max level strength at just with 73 points invested. So this is again where the value comes in. You have the Haligtree Knight's Helm, which increases your faith. You have a few of the item set things, just like with the Albric's pointed hat. This whole set, the Royal Remains. This gives you health recovery whenever your maximum HP is reduced. Now, I don't know of a situation in my experience that this is actually going to be usable, but it's not bad. If, for an example, to my knowledge, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that reduces your health. But if it does, then free health recovery is free health recovery. This is a complete set. It could be of some value, especially if they all stack and keep increasing in the effectiveness whenever your health is that low. That's why I think there could be a power creep on some of these sets. And then we have the Crucible Tree Helm. So this is a unique looking set that looks pretty cool as well. This one increases the... let's see here. Strengthens the aspects of the Crucible incantations. So this is kind of a little bit confusing. So we go to incantations on our character, and then they're going to be these incantations aspect of the Crucible, and then it's the tail whip. So a supple tail to sweep an area before the caster. So it's faith scaling. So this is like a faith type of set. So what you could do with this is you could go with like the Haligtree helm, and this looks stupid, I know, but you could get some extra faith with this, and also being able to have the extra scaling with the Crucible tree set. This is just some things I've seen and I've found that I thought could be of some value to you guys. Another very important one I seen was the Raptor's black feathers. This is powerful for me personally on my build, and I think if you're doing a lot of jumping attacks, you're gonna see this body, the black cloak with this Okina mask, because this black feathers armor, what it does is it gives you extra strength, strengthens your jump attacks. So pairing this up with the claw talisman, getting more dex, getting the Raptor's black feathers, that's a lot of damage you're gonna be able to stack on top of everything to make your jumping attacks so much more bursty and have a lot more potential. Not only PvE and jumping attack bosses and stuff to give a stagger, but just in PvP as well if you can land a jump attack, which are kind of sneaky sometimes. That's where the value I think this comes from. It's not going to be the heaviest armor, but definitely could be of some value if you find a good weapon that does amazing with jump attacks that can catch a lot of people, and you pair this up with the claw talisman and all that stuff, you're going to get some crazy damage with this. I was testing this a little bit earlier, and I got over 100 damage each from the claw talisman and the Raptor's black feathers with this Bloodhound's Fang plus 10. So this is 200 extra damage for just using these two things. That's crazy. That's quite a bit more damage. So that pretty much wraps up all of the secret item set effects that I personally have so far in my playthrough on Elden Ring. Now keep in mind, not every set has unique values. For example, a Commoner's Headband doesn't, the Guilty Hood doesn't, the Vagabond's Knight Helmet doesn't. There's things that don't have unique aspects. There are shields that have unique bonuses. The one that I've personally found was this Twin Birds Kite Shield. This is whenever you have dwindling levels of HP, this shield slightly boosts both attack and defense, so you get more value from that. I know there's a Turtle Shield that gives you stamina recovery. There's several other things that give you some unique bonuses and stats that not just affects the armor and whatnot, but that is on your shields and that sort of thing. What I'm curious about is if there's any unique like hands or legs. I've not personally found any of those. Like for example, say if this Queen's Leggings gives us extra intelligence, something like that. I know there's a full set item bonuses like the bracers here, the All Bricks bracers that give you Thorn Sorcery, but I'm just curious on if there's something unique, just like the headpiece that gives you extra strength and intelligence or something like that, that also provides the same bonuses to maybe like the pants. So you could get some like Sorcery Head, Sorcery Pants, Mind Hands, and extra vitality or extra health chest piece. That's kind of what I'm looking for. If there's something of that sort or that nature that could be of value to making a build stronger, even though it's probably not going to match kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to quit rambling, guys. I hope this helps you set up some builds in Elden Ring. Kind of give you a little bit more in-depth knowledge on the game so far, so you can optimize your builds to the max potential you can in PvP or even in PvE. But that's it for me, guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.